You don't need them, you can't stop yourself. This pain is just a crack star bursting
So, my wife tells me that I have the ability to distort reality, but if I recall correctly, we were on a road trip to North Carolina, and I think Jake pulled out his phone and started playing some of the songs that are now the Blue Eyes EP.
You know, we're just playing around with the iPod, and we had an instrumental track of something, and just hit play, and you know, Chris started having some ideas, and we all just started bouncing off each other and getting really excited about these songs again.
By the end of that day, we had somehow, I think we were eating a Cracker Barrel, and we decided that the world needed to hear these songs. So that was it. We went to work when we got home.
When we went to track Just Another Ghost, we started off recording about 12 songs, and then midway in the process we wrote some more songs, and so by the end of it we had recorded about 19 songs, and we really liked all of them, but obviously a 19-song project was probably going to be a little bit much for new fans.
We're like, yeah, we should release these. You know, I think people would really want to hear them because they're great songs, and we didn't put them on the record, not because they're not good songs, but they just didn't fit the concept of the album that we were going for. So
I became a fan of Sleeperstar through Brandon. He was telling me about these guys. I kind of knew a couple of them already, but check out the music, and I was really liking it. And my old band and Sleeperstar played a couple of shows together, and I just became a fan of the music. And then one day they needed a bass player to fill in for Brandon, and I was living in Atlanta at the time, and they were coming through Atlanta scrambling to find a bass player. So they asked me if I knew anybody around Atlanta that might be able to do it, and I play guitar, so I was like, I don't know if anybody could do it in such short notice. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, wait, I can do that. And then so I learned a ton of songs in like 24 hours and showed up to do the gig, and it went really well. It was a lot of fun.
Teleportation versus the power of flight. It's an age-old argument that people have been, you know, discussing for a long time, and me particularly since at least middle school.
Teleportation, I feel like you just get into a lot of trouble with that, you know, with you know, great power, you know, responsibility, and that stuff.
Well, I need to know whether or not I can teleport unlimited times per second.
Here's the deal with teleportation versus flight. I am pretty afraid that if I was to teleport, I would get splinched.
Teleportation would lead you to, you know, you get bored with it, and then you jump into space and die in a vacuum. Who wants to die from asphyxiation? I mean, nobody.
You know what splinched is?
Or die because you jumped inside to a mountain. I mean, I'd rather fly into a mountain because I decided to, not by accident.
Although teleporting would have its convenience factor, I think flying would be a lot more fun. Plus, if it's a great first date.
Because if you can teleport unlimited times per second, you could just continue teleporting in front of yourself and thus simulate flying.
There's nothing that you can do flying-wise that you couldn't do teleporting, and there's just so many more benefits. And really, like, if you answer flying to that question, you're wrong.
I'm going to have to go with flight.
Every engineer, producer wants the freedom to be able to take some time and experiment and kind of just be crazy. And I think what was great about the Just Another Ghost project with Sleeperstar was just them letting me do whatever I wanted to do. It didn't matter how crazy the idea was. And I'd be in my control room at like 4 in the morning, randomly talking into a microphone or recording my wife and son eating lunch and just doing some crazy ideas. And really that's a lot of what we added to the textures of the project. We were able to add crazy, just vintage synthesizers and just computer blips and noises. I love taking organic samples and just seeing what we can do with them. And that's what I love about Sleeperstar. The guys are amazing, and no idea is too crazy because they come up with the craziest ideas, these Hail Mary ideas while we're in the studio, and you're thinking, I don't know, but it challenged me recording these guys and mixing these guys.
That question you come back on yourself is like, well, why a shorter EP? And it's really because these are separate thoughts. These are separate ideas that we don't think would fit on our plans for the large release, which is the Lost Machines. Frankly, I always, as a band, we want to put more material out as much as we can. I mean, why not? We're independent. We don't have a record label breathing down our throat telling us we need this, we need that, or like wait, to when the market's right or whatever. Like that's, fortunately, we don't have those problems. The market's pretty much where it's at, and the fans like you guys watching, like you'll decide if you like it or not. And the more stuff we can give you, the better.
You and I sat to start our day.